Today's episode is sponsored by Dynasty Athletic Performance and NC Football Connections. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the All Season 365 podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on all platforms to stay updated with the latest episodes, coaching insights, and football conversations. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, and Twitter, or X. Thank you for listening and being a part of the All Season 365 community. Today, we have a special guest. We have Coach Corey Roberts, defensive back and head track and field coach at Farmville Central High School. Coach, what's up? How are you?
Hey, Coach, how you doing, man? I'm doing pretty good.
Man, I'm well, Coach. Appreciate you for hopping on. And anytime I get a chance to break bread with a football/track and field coach, man, it's all love all the time, man. Definitely.
Yes, sir, man. Well, I appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely, Coach. So before we get to today's topic, football and track and field, give our listeners a quick snapshot of your career journey to this point. All right, Coach. Yeah, tell us a little bit about your coaching journey. Sorry about that.
All right. So I started coaching at A.G. Cox Middle School. I started coaching track. I was the sprints and relays coach under Coach Sharon Casey. Great lady. She's still actually coaching at A.G. Cox right now. Been there for a long time. I had actually got started because a guy named Coach Stahl, David Stahl, man, just a super guy. He reached out to Coach Casey, and Coach Casey reached out to me. She said, well, Coach Roberts, you don't got to come out here every day and this, that, and the third. And before I could say anything, Coach Starr was like, oh, if I know anything about Coach Roberts, he's going to want to be here every day.
Exactly.
So, that's how I built my reputation, man. And, I ran track at high school. I ran a little bit for South Central High School. Coach Robert taught us a lot. And so how I got to Farmville Central it's kind of crazy. I was actually coaching football at A.G. Cox for Coach Eddie Rose. Okay. And so when Coach Rose had left and went to Farmville, I called him. He was like, yeah, sure, you can join my staff. He was the head track coach there at the time. And so I reached out to him. I said, hey, man, I would love to help you out, man. So I started helping out Coach Ahmed for about 3 or 4 years. He did a fantastic job with the program. And one day he calls me. He's like, hey, man, I know you from like the Greensboro area. He was like, you know anything about Grimsley High School? And I was like, yeah, a little bit. This, that, and third. He was like, oh, well, I'm going to be the tennis coach there. And I'm kind of like, oh, okay, not thinking nothing of it, right? So
yeah,
we go to Greensboro and the girls win states, right? So we're on the bus ride back. So I'm kind of looking around, celebrating. Then I thought for a second, like, wait, who coaching next year? Right. So, this amazing journey, man. So, because of Coach Ahmed, man, he's part of the reason why I was able to get the head coaching job. He called me every single day, shared knowledge with me about coaching, about how to register kids on mile split, everything. Because really, I never seen myself being a head coach. So, but God was preparing me for something greater than I even realized what was going on, right? So, I'm just grateful, man. Honestly.
That's usually how it go. And it's funny that you mentioned that because the logistic piece of track and field that people don't know of is getting that information ready for the heat sheet. Again, like you said, the mile split, and then when you're at a meet, kids want to know their splits and running the meet too. As a track coach, you have to work, and that's just at your home meet, and that's just what it is. And then the away meets, you're going to be asked to volunteer. You might need to start or rake or hurdle crew. The list goes on, man. So there's a lot of hidden gems that go into it. But again, congratulations to you and your program, man. Definitely.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's get to it, Coach. So how has coaching track and field made you a better football coach, particularly when it comes to speed, explosiveness, and movement?
Man, it's made me become a better football coach because, like, once I started learning track and understanding track, it's really a science behind track that I never really realized. Different movements, different stretches, different, body parts. That it's a difference between stretching, warming up, and activating muscles. That's three totally different things, right? And so, at first I was just used to stretching kids and, oh, they good. No, you got to activate these muscles, man. You know what I'm saying? And so once I started to realize that, I translate the football with my defensive backs and stuff because now, hey, we could do hurdle mobility for hip flexibility
Yes,
now,
we
and
can.
we could
Yes.
do, Coach Cook is big on yoga and different stuff like that. So, all that stuff, and it really is just a blessing to be the track coach to help with football because a lot of these guys, because of the way that we do football practice and the up tempo style, these guys come to me in shape
In shape, ready to roll, baby.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so I return the favor by when they go to spring practice, hey, we get them from states, they ready to rock and roll. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's just it's dope, man.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the first things that I noticed. When I transitioned from exclusive football to football and track and field, like you said, the mobility work, right? Putting them through the hurdles to loosen up those hips. Getting the
Hmm.
feet moving, making sure everything clicking. But probably the most important thing that I learned in track and field that has translated to football is the importance of efficiency. Not wasting movement, not wasting time, for example, in track and field, you have to be at your event on time, right? Or
Yes,
they
yes,
scratch you, so just the overall details of that, I feel like you have helped me to become more of a detail oriented football coach, so you brought up some very
absolutely.
good points there. Definitely. So what athletic traits do you look for that translate well between football and track, and how do you help athletes maximize those abilities?
So really, what I like to do is when I see kids, I want to know, are you coachable for one? Because if you're not
Yeah,
coachable, I really can't do nothing with you to begin with. But as far as physical traits, man, I look at size, look at weight, different things like that. And so like when I'm coaching football with defensive backs, the simple things like, are you running on your toes? Are you flat footed? Different things like that.
there
And
you
so
go.
I try
I
to
agree.
help translate that into when we go to track and just different things. I mean, you got to have hand-eye coordination, especially when I'm a big relays guy. And I know you are
Yes,
too,
sir.
with your
Yep.
Southeast Raleigh days, yeah. So you know, just all those things, man, ties into one. And
Yes, it
so
does.
when you teach kids how to be faster, low heel recovery,
Yeah.
different things like that, like you just said, not wasting steps, all that, all those things, man.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny because since you have that background, with you working with the defensive backs and relays, you got to share that lane, player. You got to share that lane. And as a defensive back, if you're on top of a route, right, and let's say that you're in like a cover three, you're responsible for staying on the outside half of that receiver because your safety has help on the inside, right? So it all
Right.
aligns. It very much aligns. So that detail is very important. So let me ask you this: how do you balance the demand of coaching two sports while ensuring your athletes stay healthy and avoid burnout?
So that's a great question. So what I normally do is, and I started this probably like 4 years ago, right? So we always have voluntary workouts. Even if I can't be with the track team,
Yeah,
we have group chats. And so in the group chats, you have two or three seniors each and every year that holds the track program accountable and they hold their friends accountable.
there you
And so
go.
what I'll
Okay.
do is I'll write workouts for them to do. A lot
Hmm.
of times our off season workouts are in the grass and we're in the weight room. I'm big on
Yeah,
core strength training, stuff like that. I don't really want them on the track year round because once the
yeah.
season starts back again, you're not
Tear
gonna
them
finish the
legs up.
season.
Yeah, you're gonna tear them
That's
legs
right.
up.
So so we normally do that, and like once school starts, while I'm coaching football, I maybe have about 15 kids out there working on the track or just stretching and building continuity. So once football is over, we ready to rock and roll, man.
Rock and roll.
And
Yeah.
we've been doing this for years, man. But that's how you build a coach, and that's how you build a program. So now, when the middle school gets here, they already understand the standard.
The standard is the standard, and what I appreciate most about the information you just shared was the importance of maintenance, like taking care of your athletes. There's some there's some track coaches, and I ain't they remain nameless and no disrespect intended, but they keep their athletes on the track year round, right? And
Yes,
and
sir.
and like you said, man, if all you do is live on the track, rubber. I mean, asphalt is one thing, but even rubber, right? But that wear and tear on the shins and the knees and the hips and all that good stuff. So, keep them on that grass to take some of that wear and tear off their legs so that when they do get on the track, they are, or in the jump pit, right? Like they're fresh and they're ready to roll, man. Definitely.
That's right.
So what are some of the biggest improvements you've seen in football players who also compete in track and field?
The biggest thing is top end speed, man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of football guys already have those twitch muscles,
Hmm.
but when you're able to develop that top end speed, where hey, this guy might be able to run 10 yards down the field and get touched. Now he's running 50 yards down the field. Ain't nobody behind him. It's a big difference now,
Yeah,
right?
big difference. Oh yeah, big difference.
So just those things in general, man, and I think really beyond football is character building, right?
Yeah.
Because like I said, Coach Cook does a great job with the football program, creating young men. So I try to emulate the same thing with my track program because you don't want two different voices
Yeah.
with two different standards. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody has to be on the same page.
Same page. Yeah, yeah. Everybody has to be on that same page, and it all boils to being on the same page. And it's okay if it's okay. Like we encourage. I mean, I spoke to Coach Cook, and you
Yeah.
guys share athletes, right? You share athletes,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
that's a good thing. You encourage the athlete to do something different, right? But what makes
Right.
that something different more important is when all the coaches are sharing the same thing. Just it might be worded a little bit different, but at the core, everyone's sharing the same thing. So the athletes don't have to adjust a lot. So I
Absolutely.
definitely understand you there. So track and field. So track and field speed is a little bit different from football speed.
Yeah.
A lot of time from what I see, some football coaches like, oh man, this ain't a track meet, like, let's not run them as much, right? And I'm like, oh
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I get it, but it's a little bit different when you need that running back to crank out a 90-yard run and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
So let's talk about the difference. So how do you develop speed differently for football players compared to track athletes? And where does these training methods overlap?
So track really is so different because like you know, football movements are so different because you
Right,
want to move laterally, you know what I'm saying,
right,
and
right.
different stuff like that. Track is more so vertically, like it's
Yeah.
straight down the line, no
Hmm.
matter what event that you're doing. So like track stuff wise, man, I still emulate some football stuff with track. Like we still do
Right.
ladder drill and stuff.
Yeah.
Like footwork is still important with track.
Agree. Agree.
But track is totally different because I have the wickets out there. We're working on your stride pattern. We're
Hmm.
working on different things like that. Football is more so ladder drill, sometimes bags, different stuff like that. Um, but with track, I want to make sure that there's no wasted steps. We're hitting that ground very quickly. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I'm big on foot placement, shin angles, different stuff like that. So
Mhm.
uh, that's where it kind of ties and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, and football is football is position specific. So you have those horizontal angles, like you said. For example, on defense, just calling for what it is. You got to have straight line speed, but you also got to have horizontal speed, diagonal speed.
Absolutely.
For example, your safeties, they got to be able to run that alley, make a tackle. That's just what it is. But they got to be able to run that alley in a hurry to make that tackle, right? Your corners, again,
Mhm.
if you're playing man coverage, got to be able to cut off the inside hip and stay stride for stride with a athlete that might be faster, right? But at the end of the day, they got to be able to run. That's just what it is, man. So
That's
no matter
right.
how you slice it, I'm gonna be that person to say, no matter how you slice it, you got to be able to run to compete at the highest level in football, and that goes hand in hand in track and field. Track and field, you can't hide, man. Like if you got dogs, they're in that lane. Hey, let's go ahead and get it on. But if you don't have it, hey man, everybody's gonna see it too. So before I let you go, coach, what advice would you give a young football player who is unsure about competing in track during the off season?
A young football player. Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So what advice would you give a young football player who is unsure about competing in track during the off season?
But I'm gonna tell you, I feel like that track overall is gonna help you as a football player.
Yes,
It's
it
gonna
is.
build. It's gonna build your speed. And I'm big on being in shape. I'm big on being prepared, different stuff like that. So I feel like let me reach out to you, and even if you just want to come and watch your practice, right, and see
Yeah,
how things are done, because a lot of times, man, if you just let kids, see what's going on, see how we run things, a kid's gonna let you know off rip, like, okay, man, I
yeah,
like it, I really don't.
yeah,
But I encourage any underclassman, any athlete that plans on playing football, please run track, man,
yeah,
because I think the biggest thing is a lot of kids want to run college and play football at the next level. Well, hey, 40 times are great, but they also look at the 100 times and 200 times as well. You know what I
There
mean?
you go.
So
That that's it. Hey, coach. Hey, what's that 100-meter split, coach? What's that 200-meter split, coach? What is his 400
yeah,
meter, coach? What's his long jump
yeah, man,
mark, coach? What's his triple? What's his? Come on, man. How far can he throw
yeah,
that shot put?
right, correct. You know, and now speed. I mean, with the new modern day football, everybody does spread, no huddle, up tempo.
Yeah,
You got to have some speed, man.
gotta be able to run, man. And you,
Yeah,
like you
you got to
said,
be
you
able to
got to
run.
be a tip top shape, man, to run that untempo stuff. So, absolutely. Well, thank you for listening to the All Season 365 podcast. I'm Coach Simmons here with Coach Corey. Man, we sign off, man. Today's episode is sponsored by Dynasty Athletic Performance and NC Football Connections.